Hi everyone, this is Aaron from HH Watch Reviews. Welcome back to the channel. Is there such a thing as the best watch? If you ask 3 different people what the best watch is, one might say that this SJE093 is the best watch. It's the perfect size diver's watch, it has amazing finishing, great lume, and it's a watch with great heritage. The second person might disagree and say that this Addiesdive 80-2030 is the best watch. It is cheap. No, it's affordable, it's a great size for an everyday watch, it has a dependable quartz movement, a beautiful dial design, and it looks more expensive than it actually is. And then the third person might bring a G-Shock to the table and say that this is the best watch because it is built like a tank, it has all the complications you might need in a watch, it has an amazing backlight, and there are a million different models, materials, colors to choose from. So obviously the best watch is very subjective. I can name multiple negative points about each one of these watches, and that might not change someone's opinion about it. So today we will take a look at a watch that is very close to being the best watch on AliExpress that I've handled. It is the Bettimer B8001. I had no idea this brand existed until just a few weeks ago. I was exchanging some messages with Addiesdive and this brand was mentioned during that conversation. So I reached out to Bettimer, exchanged some messages, and decided to go ahead and purchase this watch. They did offer me a discount for the watch, but as usual, that won't affect my review of the watch and they'll see this review at the same time as everyone else. If by the end of this video you're interested in purchasing this watch, I will leave an affiliate link in the description down below for you to check it out. Today I am wearing my Addiesdive 80-2056. This is Addiesdive's take on the Sharkmaster, and spoiler alert, I really like this watch. Now I know I'm behind on a lot of reviews and I'm really struggling to find the time to review all these watches with family and work, but hopefully I will get to this watch soon. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you don't miss that review. This watch measures 40.2 millimeters in diameter. The length of the watch, including the first center link, is 51 millimeters. The thickness is only 11.2 millimeters. Since this watch has an integrated bracelet, there isn't a conventional lug opening for strap changing, but in case you want to know, the first center link measures about 14.4 millimeters and the bracelet starts at 25 millimeters. And finally, the screw down crown measures 5.9 millimeters. The watch runs on the PT5000 automatic movement. It has 25 joules, 38 hours of power reserve, and it beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour. It also hacks and hand winds. The crystal on this watch is a sapphire crystal with a slight dome on the outside. There are 3 layers of blue anti-reflective coating. The watch has 100 meters of water resistance, and the case and bracelet are made out of 316L steel. We know this is not an original design, so I don't want to spend too much time talking about it. Actually, I will leave that to the end of this review. Instead, we'll start by looking at the case. Like I said already, this is a 40.2 millimeter case. But when looking at it directly like this, you would swear it was more like 41 or 42 millimeters. It visually looks bigger than 40, and this is mainly because there's so much flat surface on top of this case. Since there aren't any conventional lugs or bracelet end links, that area is a flat uniform surface which increases the visual presence of this case. Thankfully, Bettimer did an amazing job with the finishing. So the top of the case has a horizontal brushed finish. The brush strokes are fine and looks consistent throughout the entire surface. The brushing is interrupted with a slim line of polishing at the edge of the case. It is a small chamfer that's just enough to add a visual break between the top and side of the case and also makes that transition smooth to the touch. Now this is probably my favorite angle of this watch. You have the mid case, which has a horizontal brushed finish. This section is sandwiched between 2 polished areas. First, there's the same polished chamfer at the bottom of the mid case, which is followed by the high polished portion of the case back. And symmetrically, there is the high polished sides of the bezel that is on top of the mid case. Even the 2 visible screws of the case back mirrors the 2 corners of the bezel. I love the symmetry, and this view of the watch is just so satisfying to look at. Let's take a quick look at the case back before moving on to the bezel. We have 6 screws holding the case back. That exterior portion of the case back is fully polished, which, like I mentioned before, is visible from the side profile. But instead of finishing the entire case back in high polish, Bettimer did the right thing here and finished the center portion in the circular brushed finish. Such a simple thing, but it makes a huge difference in the comfort on wrist and shows that they paid attention to these little details. Alright, let's check out the bezel. The bezel on this watch is split in 2 sections. The first section closer to the case is round and finished in high polish. This is great because when you look at the watch straight on, this section catches the light and pulls your attention away from the big flat brush surface that is the rest of the case. Also, this helps make the second portion of the bezel stand out. That's the octagonal shaped bezel, which in my opinion is the main design point of this case. The top portion of this section of the bezel has a circular brushed finish and the side is polished. This is great because by polishing the sides, it allows this section to blend in well with the polished round portion of the bezel. And like I said, the top is brushed and it really stands out. Now you might be wondering, is the octagonal bezel sharp to the touch? I mean, there are 8 straight edges, right? Well, I was wondering the exact same thing, and honestly, I was sure it was going to be sharp. But to my surprise, it's actually very smooth. In fact, I couldn't find a single sharp edge on this entire case. Bettimer did a really good job softening the edges. Even the corners of the octagonal bezel is rounded to make sure it is not pointy and sharp. So overall, I don't have a single bad thing to say about this case. It's just amazing. And I think this is the best finished case from a Chinese brand I have held so far. This watch is available in 4 different dial colors. There is a blue dial, a yellow dial, a white dial, and this green dial. I honestly wanted every one of them. I think the blue and the white dials are the safest ones. The yellow dial is more like a burnt orange color. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the second hand matches the dial color on that one. At least that's how it looks like in the photos. Whereas the blue and the white dials have a regular silver second hand. All 3 of those colors have matching chapter rings. Now the green dial is the one that really stood out of the bunch, and that's why I decided to purchase it. As you can see, the chapter ring on this green dial is black with the minute track printed in white. What makes this black chapter ring so great is the matching black hour markers and hands on this watch. More precisely, the hour and minute hands. I love the contrast between the black elements and that beautiful green dial. The baton style hands and hour markers have a strip of white loom in the middle which makes them pop even more. Even the date window is black with white printing. Legibility on this dial color is really good, and when it gets dark, the BGW9 loom does a great job making sure you can still read the time. There is the text automatic at the 6 o'clock. The brand name is under the 12-hour marker. And speaking of the 12-hour marker, it isn't actually an hour marker. It's more like the brand's logo just placed at the top of the dial. That logo and the second hand are the only things on this dial that is finished in high polish. Now that dial. It has what we call a Clou de Paris dial pattern. And the best way to describe this pattern to you is basically look at a pyramid from the top view. Just a bunch of pyramids placed next to each other. And I really like this pattern. A lot more than the basket weave pattern of the engineer. I don't know if the blue, white, and yellow dials have this effect, but this green dial looks almost matte when looking at it straight on. But as soon as you tilt the watch, it becomes alive. The green becomes lighter and there's this shimmery effect. I hope I can capture it on video because it really looks good in person. I feel like the 4 sides of the pyramid pattern has a different finish and it reflects light differently. It's just a cool effect and adds character to this dial. This watch has an integrated bracelet that starts at 25mm and quickly tapers to 18mm. It actually reaches 18mm within the first 3 links, which is amazing. It has an H-link bracelet, which simply means that the links look like an H. And fun fact, my logo was actually inspired by an H-link bracelet. Anyways, the H-links have the same horizontal brushed finish as the top of the case, and just like the case, there is a slim polished chamfer on the edges and then it's back to the brushed finish on the sides. I really like that the direction of the brush strokes match the case's brush strokes, a minor detail that makes a huge difference in the end product. The center links of the bracelet are finished in high polish, once again matching the polished round surface of the bezel. Everything is held with screws and a screwdriver is included in the box. The last link on this bracelet has the brand's logo etched on it. The clasp is a butterfly style clasp. The folding mechanism feels solid. It also is very comfortable on the wrist. And just like the case, this bracelet doesn't have a single sharp edge. Everything is smooth to the touch. Even the folding mechanism of the clasp is very soft to the touch and is very comfortable on the wrist. By now, you must all be thinking that I've been paid by Bettimer to say all these positive things about this watch, that this watch is just a copy of the Loreato, and how dare I say that this is the best watch on AliExpress. Let me explain myself. I purposefully left the design portion of this review to the end. I'm pretty sure that everyone watching this video knows that this is a homage or a clomage like many have started calling these watches. I don't think Bettimer is hiding that fact either. So then why am I being so positive about this watch when it's just a copy? Well, it is simply because of how good of a job they did in, let's just say, recreating the original watch. There are plenty of homages out there, but the build quality or the finish just isn't there. The last watch that was a very good copy of the original was the Engineer, and that watch was lacking in build quality. Here's a list of things I don't like about this watch. The logo at the 12 o'clock. Hate it. The brand name. I don't know if there's a competition between Chinese brands on who comes up with the worst name. Like seriously, what's going on? The butterfly clasp. I usually don't like it because it is my least favorite type of clasp. But I understand that on some watches, it's the style of clasp that best works for the design. I just hate the fact that it doesn't have any micro adjustments or half links. The second hand is polished and will sometimes disappear because of how it reflects light. I would have preferred a white second hand. The polished chamfer edges on the bracelet links isn't consistent. The polishing is consistent, but the surface area is a bit wider on some links over some other ones. We are talking in millimeters here. Is it noticeable while holding the watch in your hand or while wearing it on your wrist? Not at all, but it is there. The blue AR coating. I've said it many times before and I'll say it again. I prefer clear AR coating. So you see, out of the 6 things I don't like about this watch, only 1 or 2 are objective, and the others are considered subjective. This is Bettimer's first watch, and I am very impressed with the watch's build quality and attention to detail. I just can't wait to see what else they come out with. An original design with the same attention to detail would be amazing. If you like a sports watch with an integrated bracelet, then this is one that you should definitely consider. As for myself, I'm never going to purchase a Loreato, so I'm glad this watch exists and that it is very well made. And that wraps up my review of the Bettimer B8001. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you guys and girls think of this watch. If you want to check out this watch and possibly buy it, I will leave the links in the description of the video. As usual, if you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it with a friend or two. If you want to see more watch content, please subscribe to the channel and click on that notification bell to be notified when I upload new videos. And as always, thank you for watching and I'll talk to you on the next one.